Welcome back, folks. It's Garlaanx here, bringing you a new Neverwinter video. And today, as the title suggests, we're going to be discussing the weapon enchantments. Now, these were revamped a while ago. Testing was already done on these when they initially released, but we need to reevaluate the situation because I see a lot of arguments about what is actually best in slot for DPS. This is an anticipated video. I know a lot of people were waiting for this. They've been asking me for the past several months to get it done, so we're finally getting it done today. So we're talking about Poison Thorn versus Cursed Burn. So Battle Tempered is garbage. Don't ever use it. It's horrible. So we have two contenders. Poison Thorn, Cursed Burn. Now, up until this point, everyone was using Poison Thorn, especially for single target, because it did proc the Band of Air. However, as of recently, filming this video, we're in late September. I believe it's the last day of September, September 30th of 2022. Band of Air was nerfed, so Poison Thorn isn't really necessary. Cursed Burn is better. I will prove it today that Cursed Burn is better, especially single target, but it also as AoE. So let's just go ahead and look at it and see what we're talking about here. So everybody should be familiar with these. Cursed Burn gives you 10% increased damage. Your at-will encounter and daily powers burn your foe for magnitude 7.5 damage as fire damage every 1 second for 3 seconds. If the target is already affected by burn, you have a 10% chance to make them explode, dealing magnitude 15 damage as poison damage to nearby foes. This effect may only occur no more than once every 10 seconds. So what I think is happening is that procced effect, even on single target, is still going off. It's just hitting the single target. Thus giving us more damage overall, again, especially for a single target situation. However, it does work AoE. So personally, I've been using Cursed Burn on AoE and single target for the past, I don't know, several months because I never got a Band of Air. Now again, if you had a Band of Air, you were using Poison Thorn because it did proc Band of Air. However, that's no longer the case. So Poison Thorn, your at-will encounter and daily powers cause the target enemy to take magnitude 25 damage as poison damage after 4 seconds. Target enemy movement speed is reduced by 10%, it stacks up to 3 times, lasts 4 seconds, and again increased damage by 10%. So, the argument now becomes Poison Thorn is actually valid for AoE because of the reduction in movement speed. Not necessarily the damage. Remember, Cursed Burn is going to do more DPS, AoE, and single target. But if you do want to use Poison Thorn for an AoE situation, for more as a crowd control, the reduction in movement actually does happen, and it helps a lot, especially if you're mid-tier, lower tier, and you're not killing trash mobs as fast as, let's say, an endgame, end-geared group would be. But, however, if you're, just pure DPS, you want as much damage as possible, then yes, Cursed Burn is going to be the winner. We'll bring it up here. I'll prove it to you guys. We ran all the testing. These tests were actually done pre-Band of Air nerf. However, I did run the tests again. The numbers are the same. So nothing was changed with the enchantments. However, again, if you were crutching on a Band of Air and procking it with your Poison Thorn, those days are now over. So before we go any further in the video, huge shout out to Thideology, aka gamertag on Xbox, Pope of Dope 727. He just randomly sent me a message, so I'm tossing it in here. Shout out to all of the nation members on Xbox. I love you guys, as always. So let's go ahead. Let's go over the numbers here. First, we're going to start with Curse. So, your Cursed Bite, as you can see on the screen, I am a Warlock. This is Warlock testing. It may differ on other classes. Other classes will have to test this themselves and get the results. However, I'm pretty confident in saying that the other classes are going to work the same way. So, Cursed Burn in this test was just a short test, 2-minute and 30-second test on a dummy, and you can clearly see we almost hit 2 million damage just off our Cursed Burn. The encounter DPS was almost 13,000. So the main thing to note here is that the crit rate, right? We had an 81% crit rate, and that's what's making this good, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, as we compare that to the Poison Thorn, you can see the Poison Thorn only did barely 1.2 million damage, and the encounter DPS was almost in half. I mean, you're looking at 7,300. And you're going to notice why. Look in the crit percent column, it's 0%. Poison Thorn, especially at least on the Warlock, does not crit. It will not crit. That is why Cursed Burn is outweighing it damage-wise. Now, I don't know, per se, if, in fact, you know, that's actually going to make a huge difference. However, you're talking about minuscule damage here. So if we bring them both up just to compare here, you can clearly see, you know, Curse Burn's getting a little more DPS. Is it a major deal? Is it, you know, going to cause you to run to the auction house and buy a Curse Burned if you're already using a Poison Thorn? No, in my opinion, no. You don't have to make any significant changes. However, if you're that sweaty, you know, 1% tryhard out there that has to be the best of the best, then yeah, you're going to want to take note of this. Curse Burn is more DPS. And I think the reason, whether it's working as intended or this is a known bug, Poison Thorn does not crit, at least on the Warlock. I was able to get it to crit on the Warlock by using Deadly Curse and All-Consuming Curse. So if we do take a look at that, now you're looking at 40-something percent, 40% crit rate, and you can see that it almost did the same damage as Curse Burn would necessarily do. So again, is it that big of a deal? In my opinion, not really. If we bring up the numbers here, you can see the two different Warlock builds. Again, the Deadly Curse and All-Consuming Curse isn't really the optimized DPS build currently for the Warlock. So you can see the difference here. The numbers don't lie, guys. I did hundreds of tests just to make sure all the numbers were correct. And again, everything adds up to the fact that Curse Burn, unfortunately, does more DPS, single target and AoE, compared to Poison Thorn. So you can argue with whoever you want to argue about. Again, the numbers don't lie. I can only provide the information to you guys. You can take that information and do with it as you will. I know this was an anticipated video for a long time. I apologize for getting it out there so late, but it is out there now. So you can make adjustments to your builds as necessary. But again, you can clearly see that just, you know, Curse Burn does a little bit more damage. Significantly, no. Again, is Poison Thorn working as intended? Should it be critting? In my opinion, overall, all of the weapon enchantments should be increased in damage anyway. They're very low on the damage. Even if you're running without a weapon enchantment, it's not really going to matter. I mean, yeah, you're going to get out DPS by someone wearing one, but if you don't have one or you're not using a mythic one and you're only using an epic one, it doesn't really matter. It's not a lot of your overall damage. However, every little bit does help. So, yeah, guys, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them below as always. Make sure to share them with your friends, especially, you know, if someone wants to argue with you that Poison Thorn is the ultimate best in slot single target, because then just point them to my video. Again, this is all testing done on the Warlock. I did not test them on any other classes. If any other YouTube content creators out there of other classes, like Galactic, if you're watching, if you want to run it on the Rogue, I would be much appreciated just to compare the numbers. Aragon, I believe, plays a Ranger. So Aragon, if you're watching this, feel free to test it on the Ranger. That'd be great. That way we can at least see the numbers. But I can safely say on the Warlock, if you're a Warlock watching this video, use Curse Burn. Single target, definitely. AoE is optional. Completely up to you. That's all I got for you today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys real soon.